No ID is meant for a sane audience. No ID may contain liberty-oriented content. Pinko discretion is advised. Now, here's No ID with Paul Banducci and Scott Moskowitz.
Hey, howdy. Welcome back to No ID, North Idaho's mainstream narrative deconstruction. I'm Scott.
Hello, Internet. I'm Paul. Welcome back. It's good to be here. How you doing, Scott?
I'm just enjoying this fantastic weather, which is, I think, the exact same thing we said last week, because, boy, has summer arrived early.
It's been pretty lovely, though. It's been very, very lovely. No complaints here?
For once. Okay, show over.
Hey, efficiency. There we go. We've been aiming for it for a while. We finally found it. Turns out the trick was to just talk about the weather.
And sports and the weather. Off. Yeah.
Sports and the weather.
Which that was what always at the Racketeer. That's what we did. Sports and the weather. Wait a minute.
That was the secret sauce every time, sports and the weather. Just.
When, of course, you could peel your eyes away from the 25 TVs all showing ESPN the Ocho.
Ooh, but dodgeball on ESPN the Ocho. That was what I came for. Came for the cigars, stayed for the dodgeball.
Well, that sounds like something.
Usually you pay double for that kind of action, Cotton.
That is exactly what a townie would say.
Oh, are we going to start? We're going to start with just open up with this? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, of course.
That's fine.
There's a publication up. I don't know if I think they distribute all the way down to Moscow and Moscow and all the way up to the border, basically. I don't know if it's further than that, but the People's Pen. It's a publication, a liberty-minded publication. How would you sum it up?
I would sum it up as an alternative print media. If I was sanitizing it, but it is a conservative-leaning newspaper that comes out once a month.
Yeah,
People's Pen. Actually, I've been subscribing to it for years. We advertised in it too for a long time when I was running the Racketeer. Just like everything, I disagree with probably 40% or more of what's in here, but they get it right more than the other guys, and it's nice to have a different perspective. So I've been a supporter of the People's Pen for quite some time.
And I believe 2020 might have been the first year of its publication. It's relatively new, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I can't tell you how old it is exactly, but I want to say it came 2020, 2021. I know that by the time I got the Racketeer up and running, the publication was also up and running because it had a presence in my lounge pretty much since the Racketeer was a thing.
Well, and I was trying to think, because the reason we're bringing it up is because in the latest issue that came out last week, there is an interview with Paul and myself about our show, and the title of the article is Townies and Transplants. So we were kind of joking about that, and the notion of the word townie. Paul and I think of it as a pejorative, although the internet seems to, at a glance, disagree.
It's only a mild pejorative if you asked ChatGTP. I disagree. I've always used it as a pejorative, although I will admit I learned something new today where apparently I've been using it wrong as far as context goes. Not entirely wrong, but wrong enough. But I don't care. I'm going to keep using it my way. We've always used it as a descriptor, a pejorative descriptor for people who live in town versus those of us who live not in town and don't like the hustle, the bustle, the traffic, the bullshit, or the politics. Apparently, townies is slightly different.
Well, yeah, when we plugged it into the Ultranet, it came back. A townie is an informal term for a person who is a long-term or lifelong resident of a particular town, especially in contrast to people who are temporary or newly arrived, like students, tourists, or transplants. So hence the townies or transplants title. And the editor of the newspaper who did the interview, he likes alliteration, as editors and content creators often do.
Yeah, and that was the angle that Joel was going for on this was because I guess who's the townie in this one? It's me. I'm the townie, and Scott is the transplant. So that's the angle that Joel wanted to go with. So I got slapped with the Townie moniker, and I'm telling you what, I'm feeling a little grumpy about it.
Well, it was cool though. It was fun to, it was fun to sit down and with because normally like we're not interviewing people. We're dissecting the clips. We're deconstructing the mainstream. So it was I liked the change of pace format where just a third party was asking us questions about us. It's not something I normally do, is sit down and answer questions about me.
Yeah, but it's one of the things we do like best. I mean, we'd never admit it publicly, but who doesn't like talking about themselves?
Right.
But enough about me. Let's talk about me.
Well,
I pretty much carried that thing, really.
Yeah, well, you're the townie.
Shit, I don't have my bell. Hold on.
Hey.
Good for you.
Okay, where should we start this week? It was sort of an interestingly slow news week, I guess. Like there was a couple.
Yeah, well, usually we both have. Usually I'm at least a little bit useful, and I can bring somewhere in between 2 and 5 articles to you in a week. Usually probably more like 2 or 3, but they're always good. There has been not much to work with this week. I think mainly it's because I've been algoed. I think maybe we all are being algoed into the election season. It's primary season, baby. Whoop, whoop. A week from today, Tuesday, May 19th, is the Idaho state primary. So across the state, everybody will be casting ballots. Well, everybody who wants to vote will be casting ballots for who they want to see run as the Republican, if they are a Republican, or who they want to see run as the Democrat, if they are a Democrat, so on and so forth. But it's kind of a big deal in Idaho because lots of Democrats have switched over and have put an R next to their name. So that's how they're trying to win elections in Idaho now.
They're kind enough, though, to still let us know where they're coming from. So when the phony baloney Republicans put out material, they say stuff like, it's D-Day.
Absolutely. Oh, I mean, if you know what to look for and you are paying attention, it is so front and center easy. One of the ads that they're running, the NIR is leading this up, and NIR is spread out across like 12 different organizations that are all affiliated with NIR. They're the same people. They're funded by the same people. They're backed and organized by the same people, but they have names like Kootenai County corruption or rigged red card or Save Kootenai County, or things or some of them are even worse. They're like Patriot Front type, blah, 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 or, People Who Love America Inc. It's so bad. But the North Idaho Republicans, NIR, it's all them and through them. And one of their favorite things to say right now, if you go right to their Facebook page, they're saying, I'm paraphrasing, but it's basically, don't let the extremists take away your freedoms. Fighting extremism to protect your freedom. It's something along those lines. Now I'm going to have to look it up because it's so absurd and it's beyond the pale. And if you didn't know any better, you would think the way that it's phrased, you would think, oh my gosh, they must be conservative because they're talking about preserving our freedom by fighting extremism.
Sorry, whatting their freedom?
To pervert.
Did you say preserve?
To pervert.
To pervert. But ironically and sadly, these folks are the ones who steadily march the government forward. I mean, these are the people who never met a tax they didn't like. They never met a levy they wouldn't vote for. They never met a government agency that they would not keep. The people that they call extremists are actually the people who are like, yeah, maybe we should claw back our own money. Let's tax people less. Let's have a smaller government. Now, the folks on the other side aren't perfect. Nobody's perfect. But the NIR are downright disingenuous, and it's absolutely absurd. Man, I'm seeing if I can find it because it's been all over the place. Okay, right. I said right now, our freedom is under attack by extremism.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they're saying it.
Sure. Our
freedom is under attack by extremism.
Well, that's the correct statement.
Yeah.
It's just that they're the ones.
Actually, I would make the argument that the North Idaho Republicans, they are not extremists at all. They are, because they're not hardcore leftists in the way we think of them as, like where you're from, California, where there's really hardcore leftists. Like they're straight up avowed socialists and communists and things like that. And a lot of the North Idaho Republicans are not that. A few of them are closetedly, but most of them are not. What they are, I think, is better described as NPCs. They are bland. They go with the wind. They are the people who, they are the Tories. I would describe them as the Tories during the American Revolution. The people who went out there and fought over taxation without representation and having to have troops in their house and things like that. Then they had their neighbors, because you realize that most of us who know our history know that the American Revolution and the so-called patriots, the American patriots who fought in that revolution and supported it and ran it and all that, they were the minority of the population. There was a huge swath of the population that kind of just sat on the fence and rode it out and didn't take one side or the other. But there was also a significant portion of the population that were the Tories. They supported the English crown, or just were anti-agitation. That's NIR. NIR are the Tories. They're the neighbor who would call on you, call you out if you had a garage sale during COVID. They are the people who wore the masks, who got double, triple, quadruple vaxxed, who would have made you do it too if they thought they had the majority up here, but they didn't. So they couldn't attempt some of the things they would have otherwise. They are the people who will say, well, just one more tax. It's only 1% more this year. It's only 2% more this year. It's only one more government agency. It's only one more bureaucrat. And then 10 years later, the budget has, gone up 10 times and it's not enough for them. Those are the kind of people they are. And others like myself who agitate for less government are considered, ne'er-do-wells, malcontents, and agitators by these kinds of people. These actually maybe even best described as the mayor of the town that was occupied by the communists in Red Dawn. That's who these people are.
I am
personified by the mayor. Yeah, now Dan Gugit is personification of that. Dan, communists drop in, take over half of America, occupy all the towns. Dan Gugit stays as mayor and works with them.
I am the mayor.
Quote, unquote, keep the peace. That's the kind of people the NIR is.
I think because you just mentioned that was Dan Gugit from that city council meeting going, I am the mayor. And a moment ago, I played To Pervert, which was Governor Brad Little during the State of the State address. He was trying to say that he wants to preserve Idaho, but as you heard, it came out as pervert.
To pervert.
I got a message from Sir Ducifer, who is the senior producer with Alex Jones's operation. And Sir Ducifer said, try to work in short intros or quips or rhetorical questions before dropping ISOs, as they sometimes come out of nowhere. So it's a good reminder that not everyone, to understate the case, not everyone hears every show or even close. So there's, for the Kevin Killians of the world, forgive me. I mean, I know there are people who already we know, man, we know that's Governor Little. Well, but not everybody does, and not everyone's hearing everything. And so it's good to reset from time to time and make sure that there's context to the stuff that we're throwing in here, because we know, but a lot of times maybe those who it catches their ear, they don't. So I appreciate Sir Ducifer's reminder that we should be giving context to these things more than we do.
Yeah, firm but fair.
Sir Ducifer also sent a very strange story that when I mentioned it to you before we started here, you were like, oh yeah, I remember that. But so I didn't know anything about it, but I went and pulled it's relevant again because just a month or two ago, it was back in the news because the perpetrator of what I'm about to play was released on parole and is now back in Kootenai County. I believe he's in either Post Falls or Coeur d'Alene, living with an ankle monitor or whatever, but he is not in prison any longer. And I am speaking of Kyle Odom. And Sir Ducifer sent me this story because, well, you'll hear why in a moment.
From our North Idaho newsroom, the man accused of shooting a Coeur d'Alene pastor is tonight in the Kootenai County Jail. 30-year-old Kyle Odom facing attempted murder charges for shooting Pastor Tim Remington 6 times.
Now, this is from 10 years ago. Or 9 years ago. This is the original story when it actually happened. This was from 2016.
For shooting Pastor Tim Remington 6 times. KXY4's Brittany Paris working for you now. She's live in our newsroom with that. Brittany?
Nadine, it's been a month since a judge in Washington, D.C. ordered Kyle Odom to be returned to Idaho to face those attempted murder charges. Odom was booked into the Kootenai County Jail around 2 this afternoon. This is his booking photo. Odom was arrested by Secret Service agents 2 days after he allegedly shot Pastor Tim Remington in the parking lot of the Altar Church on March 6th. Surveillance video shows Odom was armed inside the church before the shooting. He was then on the run for 2 days until he was caught throwing items, including flash drives, over the White House fence. Police say Odom was able to board a plane to Boise, Idaho to get to D.C. Odom will not face charges there. Pastor Tim Remington is slowly recovering from the shooting. He made his first public appearance in front of his congregation last weekend, saying this is a community that stands up for God.
So I'm going to try to stitch this together to the extent that I understand this story, because it's a weird one. The pastor, Remington, who is still an active pastor at the Altar Church, was shot 6 times by Odom, who was he was either a sharpshooter or he got like commendations from the military for his marksmanship. So my understanding is he has a military background, was an expert marksman, and was sort of known as like a smart guy. He's on the dean's list at Boise State. I might be getting the details not quite correct here, but something along those lines. And he went on this. He went and hunted down basically Pastor Remington because Kyle Odom was convinced that Pastor Remington was a Martian, was essentially like one of the reptilians, and went and shot him 6 times with a .45, including once in the head. And if you look at Pastor Remington now, you can't even tell that ever happened. But then there was a manifesto. Okay, so here's the next clip that will start to tie some of it together, I guess.
Attempted murder, mind control, and Martians. Well, he faced a judge, calm and collected. The man accused of shooting a Coeur d'Alene pastor appeared in Kootenai County Court for the first time since being extradited from Washington, D.C. last Friday. Kyle Odom is accused of ambushing Pastor Tim Remington of the Altar Church, shooting him 6 times in March. Remington spent days in critical condition with gunshot wounds to his arm, hip, and head.
For someone who believed a pastor in Coeur d'Alene was being controlled by Martians, you would almost expect to see a visible difference as he sat in court today. Instead, he answered the questions the judge gave him calmly, and then when he was done, he was quietly escorted out of the room by deputies. We've seen his picture and heard the stories of how Kyle Odom, accused of attempted murder, believed Martians were controlling key leaders of the country and the world.
So what popped into my head, I got one more here to tie it together. What popped into my head was Ryan McClintock, which was not exactly.
I was gonna ask if Ryan McClintock and Kyle Odom were related. I was just waiting for the right time.
It seems like they are sort of in some sort of spirit where they're like, the reptilians are in control. Isn't anyone noticing this? Hello, I guess I have to take action. And then, but what was, okay, on some of these old videos, like I said, these are, 10 years old, 6 years old, these old reports, the comment sections were full of hundreds of comments of people going like, oh yeah, no, Kyle Odom's right. Like this, he is a reptile. Like how do you get shot in the head with a .45 and shot 6 times with a .45? Like, of course, yeah, the Martian just walks away from it, and not only walks away from it, gets appointed to state leadership in the year of our Lord Fauci 2020.
Good evening. We begin tonight with Governor Little appointing a new lawmaker to the State House, and this new legislator comes with quite the backstory. Coeur d'Alene pastor Tim Remington will replace Representative John Green, who was expelled from the legislature earlier this month after being convicted of felony tax fraud in Texas. Remington is well known for surviving a serious shooting at his church 4 years ago. Our Misty Inglet joins us now from the State House with details about this newest lawmaker. Misty?
Lawmaker.
Back in March of 2016, Remington was shot outside of his church after Sunday services. He was shot 6 times in the back and once in the head. But through this whole process, Remington has always maintained that he was not the victim. The man who shot him was. And he's always been very open about the fact that he's forgiven the shooter. Now he's hoping that that forgiving attitude, as well as his background as a pastor, can bring a new perspective here to the State House.
Nope. No, I did not expect this.
That's how Pastor Tim Remington feels about his role as Idaho's newest lawmaker. But
so presumably the reporter said, "Did you expect to be appointed to a government position?" And his response was to laugh hysterically.
Nope. No, I did not expect this.
That's how Pastor Tim Remington feels about his role as Idaho's newest lawmaker. But Remington has dealt with the unexpected before. In 2016, a man named Kyle Odom shot Remington after his church services in Coeur d'Alene. Remington was shot multiple times, and the reason?
He saw me as an alien, and this entity that came into his life told him that he needed to take me out.
Regardless, he says he was appointed to the legislature for a reason, and he sees it as an honor, not a burden. One of his top priorities, taking a closer look at the recently introduced anti-abortion bill. And his biggest passion, progressing a bill to give addicted juveniles a place to recover.
We have 100 beds for adults, but we have 0 because they won't let us for juveniles. And if we had it for juveniles, we could get to these juveniles without government overreach into what we're doing. We could get to these juveniles and save their lives.
Reverend Remington will officially be sworn in as a lawmaker tomorrow morning.
So it would have been actually really funny if you had been like, yeah, my top priority is gun control. And he would have had a total, he might have been able to pull it off even in Idaho. Cause I mean, who's going to tell the guy? Yeah. Actually, no. Oh man, the Democrats in that moment were probably like, if only one of us could have gotten shot in the head, and then we could have campaigned on gun control. We could have gotten this rammed through this year. But
would have been perfect.
Remington, great name by the way, was actually is a pretty stand up, solid dude overall. Fairly conservative guy, decent dude, decent human being. I don't spend a lot of time in his orbit, but I know of him and I know him just a little bit personally.
So you're sure he's a human being?
I do. I think it is hilarious though that it does give credence to well, maybe he is a lizard person. 6 shots and 1 to the head, and he doesn't
45
drop.
to the head, and he just walks away.
What is happening? He didn't just walk away.
No,
I promise you that. But yeah, I don't think he ran for re-election.
No, he didn't.
Your memory
absolutely right.
serves. Yeah, which, I mean, that says something about a person right there to me. He got appointed. He didn't ask for it. He got appointed. He did his time. It was like I want to say it was a session, 1 session or maybe a session and a half. I don't remember.
It was like January 2020.
And then he was like, all right, I'm good. I'm
the
done.
November 2020 election, he didn't run. So yeah, it was about a year, a little less even.
Yeah, so he basically was for 3 months a legislator because the session in Idaho is only like 3.5 months. Oh, the John Green thing, by the way, in case anybody's curious, that was a witch hunt. If ever there was a witch hunt, just when you piss off the IRS, they'll get you anywhere. They got him in Texas. He lives here. He is a friend of mine. I know him quite well, and he's as good as they come. He's the guy you want next to you when the shit hits the fan for sure. Smart dude. He got in trouble for advising clients as a tax attorney with what they could or couldn't do with bullion, gold and silver and things like that. And he was trying to help people, save money and engage in tax avoidance. And a lot of it comes down to the bullshit truly that is when you, for instance, when you buy a gold bullion coin that is, let's say an American Eagle coin, a gold eagle, and it's the printed value, the minted value of it is like $5. Well, that I think is 1/10 of an ounce of gold. So, obviously the gold is worth significantly more than $5, the face value of the coin itself. And so that's what was at odds with the government versus John and his clients is, the government wants to try to tax you on the value of the gold but they put $5 on the coin, and if you spend it as $5, well, you can only spend it as $5. So really, an interesting little way things work on that. So but the government will tax you on the value of the gold instead of the value of the money that they printed. So, anyways, that's what he got in trouble for. Was trying to help clients navigate that.
Where did John Green come up? I think I might have missed it.
John Green is the legislator who was kicked out of the legislature.
Who Remington replaced. Got you. Yep.
Yeah, he's the seat that Remington replaced.
Gotcha.
And actually, being an appointment, it wasn't a bad pick. There was way, way worse picks out there that could have replaced John Green. And since we didn't get to vote on it, I mean, it could have been anybody. And then he did his thing, and then he was like, yeah, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Back to my church.
Where he remains.
So.
Yeah, I just thought it was a bizarre sequence of events. I mean, the whole thing is bizarre. Like, this guy's, I'm convinced this person's a Martian. I'm going to shoot them 6 times, including in the head with a 45. And then they're just going to, in very Martian-like fashion, you think a 45 is effective against a Martian? Try again, dude. And then gets
I got to give him some respect because, at least it wasn't as lame as just going to the church and smashing windows.
The windows, yeah, totally. And then Remington gets appointed to before that, Odom goes to the White House and starts tossing like thumb drives over the fence, like, hey, elected officials, like here, like check out all this stuff. Like there's lizards and Martians among us, but he's tossing it over the fence to the head reptile. So that's never going to work. And then he,
that part I don't understand at all. Like I don't remember that part of the story. That's where they got him.
They got him, yeah, and then they extradited him back to Idaho.
While he's dumping hard drives and thumb drives and stuff over the fence at the White House. What?
Right?
What the hell?
And then it's like, well, yeah, of course, man. He's just some delusional guy. Like, yeah, okay, well, And then the pastor gets appointed in 2020 to a state position. And then now we've got this guy out on parole. I don't know.
So Kyle Odom is out on parole?
Yeah. As of like a couple of months ago, he's out of prison now. But then there was also the part
10
2
years and then out.
Did you hear what he was saying? What the pastor was saying about what he wanted to do?
Told him.
And his biggest passion, progressing a bill to give addicted juveniles a place to recover.
We have 100 beds for adults, but we have 0 because they won't let us for juveniles. And if we had it for juveniles, we could get to these juveniles.
We could get to them
without government overreach into what we're doing. We could get to these juveniles and save their.
So, and then once he's in this position, his biggest thing is he wants to get to the kids and the damaged kids.
I see what you're putting together here. Definitely make you go, I think I can dispel it though, just because I know well enough to know that wasn't Pastor Remington. Definitely not that kind of dude.
Okay. Yeah, it was just an eyebrow raiser. And, that's this is the sort of stuff that catches Sir Ducifer's attention. So,
and it should. It definitely should. And in most cases, I think it would be a little eyebrow raising. Maybe it is. Maybe it is here too. And I just am not seeing the forest for the trees because I'm closer to it. I don't know. But I'm not super close to it. Like I said, like I'm not friends with the guy. I'm not on a first name basis. I don't think I've ever had more than a word with the dude, but close orbits that almost overlap.
Well, speaking of shootings, there were a couple things that were, the breaking news.
Oh, we got more?
Well, yeah, but this one was part of the breaking news cycle from just a couple days ago.
A suspect is in custody after a man was shot and killed in Kootenai County. The Kootenai sheriff says they got reports of a shooting at 7:10 p.m. Deputies were already nearby for what they call the Lantern Festival there, which was held near Post Falls. Deputies say the shooting may have stemmed from a dispute as people were leaving that festival. They also say the suspect tried to drive through a crowded area and was detained while driving out. The Kootenai County Sheriff's Office still investigating what happened there.
So did you hear about this? This was at the State Line Speedway, or just outside of it.
No, I did not hear about this. So some dude got iced by some other dude, huh?
So what seems to have happened, and part of the reason this is not exactly top of show, even it seems like nobody really knows anything just yet. But basically, after an event at the Speedway, and it was, tons of traffic, all trying to, leave the event and line, backed up cars for a mile. There was probably, it seems like there was some sort of a road rage thing. Someone cut in line, someone was trying to drive where they shouldn't. People got out of the car, argument ensued, and someone got, a gun was brandished and someone died. And then there was, I saw like, the, ambulance and fire trucks and all the emergency vehicles, along with all these people walking out of the venue on foot and in cars that were going a mile an hour. And everyone is basically like walking past the body. And I saw some people going like, hey man, you could have at least put like a sheet over the body. I was like walking by with my 3 young kids and they're like having to walk past this body.
An experience they will never forget.
Right. And then I saw people going like, oh, well, hey, welcome to freaking Oakland. Well, what the hell is this?
Yeah, that's a bummer. I don't know what else there is to say about it. I guess it's just a bummer. Oh, another one just popped up from the North Idaho Republicans. I'm on Facebook just because, again, I think it's partly because I'm just politically, I have all the stuff here. So it all goes right into me. And here it is again. They're saying it again and again. Right now, our freedom is under attack by extremism. It's time for a change. That's what they say. Speaking of lizard people, it's these people. These people are the lizard people. Look at who they endorse. It's just crazy. They endorse Brad Little. Shocker. They endorse Lieutenant Governor Scott Bedke, who's a total establishment. Everybody on this is complete and utter establishment. Total establishment candidates.
That would be
Just
Brad Little having a vocal moment on the word constitutional, where his voice cracked ridiculously when he attempted to say the word constitutional.
Constitutional.
Yeah. Oh, look, Dan Gookin's running for precinct committeeman in precinct 416. So these are the people they run. Okay, Dan Gookin. I am the mayor, Dan Gookin.
And if you don't like it, you can sue me.
Oh, North Idaho Republicans, you're just the worst.
As long as we're on the topic of guns and shooting.
The Shoshone County prosecuting attorney ruled the December shooting at the county public safety building was justified. 2 officers shot and killed John Drake, who fired a gun in the building.
Now, I have no idea why she says, excuse me. I didn't cut that. I
was going to ask, but also when they say the Kootenai County Safety Building, are they referring to the jail? What are they referring to?
At the county public safety building.
The county public safety building? The sheriff's office? Is that just an interchangeable term for the sheriff's office?
I got to look it up.
The Shoshone County prosecuting attorney ruled the December shooting at the county public safety building.
The county public safety building in Shoshone.
Yeah, it's the jail.
Is it all in one?
What a really nice name for it. The Kootenai County Public Safety Building. That's the jail. What the hell? That's what they call it, huh? Okay.
When you lock up the Martian hunters, you're keeping the public safe.
I guess. Yeah. So some dude brought a gun into the jail, huh? And fired it off?
This was the Wallace shooting from December, but the story that just came out is the justification for the shooting was ruled on.
Prosecuting attorney ruled the December shooting at the county public safety building was justified. 2 officers shot and killed John Drake, who fired a gun in the building, shot 2 people in downtown Wallace, and then barricaded himself inside the visiting room. Our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press say the county attorney sent a letter last week. It said the officers met both constitutional standards and Idaho law with their use of deadly force. That means the officers have no criminal liability.
Not that,
so,
not
wait, so
surprising.
This dude popped 2 people in Wallace?
Well, yes, you remember this, surely, when they remember like all of the different police forces from all around the entire region all responded. That like lone wolf was in there shooting, and he didn't
Wait, this is in Shoshone County.
Yeah, that's what I said, Shoshone.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I heard Kootenai County. Never mind. Gee whiz. I was looking up the Kootenai County jail. It's called Kootenai County Public Safety Building. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe it's the Shoshone County Public Safety Building, which is also the jail. Okay, I'm on track. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was looking at the Kootenai County stuff. I was trying to figure out how a guy could get away with popping a couple of people over in Wallace and then getting all the way over to Kootenai County.
And then it was ruled justified.
And then getting into the Kootenai. Yeah, and then getting into the Kootenai County jail, barricading himself in there, and then getting popped. And I was just, the whole time I'm thinking, how the hell, this doesn't, okay. Oh, well, that's why I didn't add up. Yeah, so now they're just making a ruling on that event that happened, what was that, 2-3 months ago, and they're saying the officers were justified. Everybody go about their business.
Well, as long as you were off track there. Let's see if we can get you back on track with an Ask Paul.
The largest grant in University of Idaho.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I almost forgot.
Here comes the question. Big or small, make your guess before we call. The game begins. It's Ask Paul.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
The largest grant in University of Idaho history. For the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences to study climate-resilient farming practices has been reinstated after the Trump administration pulled it last year. The Idaho Capital Sun reports the feds notified U of I last month that the school and its partners, the Nature Conservancy, Desert Mountain Grass-Fed Beef, and the Nez Perce and Coeur d'Alene tribes could resume work on the 5-year program. More than 200 Idaho farmers from 34 counties had applied to participate before the grant funding was withheld. Program managers told the Capital Sun they hope to go back to many of those same farmers and get them on board this year before potentially reopening the application process. Program managers say they're focused on reducing risk for farmers by using more organic nutrient sources and different field practices to improve soil carbon storage, water retention, and more.
So, what is the amount of the biggest grant in the history of the university?
That is probably largest grant in college history, and it's from the feds. It's over 5 years, across a couple hundred farmers and a bunch of bureaucrats and administrators and all that kind of stuff. I think we're probably looking at somewhere around 40 million.
The largest grant in University of Idaho history, $59 million for the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences to study climate-resilient farming practice.
I should know better. I should know better, of course. All people should know better when the government's going to spend money and have a grant. Of course, it's going to be 2 or 3 times as much as you think it should be.
59
Got to feed
million.
those bureaucrats.
Mm-hmm.
59 million. That's about 12 million a year. Just shy of 12 million a year.
Well, and what funds grants like that? Of course, taxes.
As many of us are swamped with spam text messages.
Or the printing press, which is just another style of tax. So either way, it's on us.
As many of us are swamped with spam text messages and phone calls, the Idaho Tax Commission wants residents to know they'll be making legitimate phone calls starting today to folks who haven't paid their 2025 state tax bill. The commission says about 22,000 individual and business filers in Idaho are in this position, and they'll receive an automated phone call asking them to contact the tax commission. Anyone concerned about the legitimacy of these calls can verify the request online at tax.idaho.gov.
Just so you know, nobody
expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Okay, so there you go. So
those rat bastards.
Sir Lucifer wants us to provide context for the ISOs. What's the context?
What am I supposed to explain everyone I do now? I'm not doing that. No, not doing it.
No explanation.
I'm going to do, you know what?
Thank you, but I prefer it my way.
I just like the part where they have the national treasure, NPR, just hammering home, just in case you were wondering, taxing entities are legitimate.
Yeah. Legit phone calls from a legit agency that totally legitimately is legit.
Here's another.
Pay your taxes, citizen, you tax cow. Pay them. I'm actually really proud of Idaho. 22,000 people haven't paid their state taxes. Go them. I support you all. Just want you to know, if any of you listen to this, I support you. You're brave. And
here's another
what you're doing.
Super legitimate messaging apparatus.
The Idaho Transportation Department is starting its Click It or Ticket campaign. That goes on today to remind everyone to buckle up. Law enforcement agencies will do more patrols until the end of the month, and they're going to be focusing on rural areas. Specifically, ITD says that's where traffic fatalities often occur.
Now, you brought up seatbelt laws on the podcast before, very recently, and the notion of their safety, they're for your safety, because they're so worried about where there's fatalities on account of no seatbelts. And for your safety, if you don't pay the ticket we issue you, we'll show up and wrestle you out of your bed, zip tie you, and put you in jail.
And they're going to focus on rural areas. So they're going to extract money from the people who can least afford it. So this is our third story in a row, all of which have involved extraction from the people. Yep. Just shut up and pay your taxes. Give us your money, tax cows.
Also
so we
have
can
to
give giant grants to the colleges, so we can give the state of Idaho more money. And just for flavor, we're going to also extract you roadside also for your own safety. And if you don't comply, we're going to hurt you.
The absurdity
safety.
of the click it or ticket thing, which has been going on as a campaign for decades. I can remember click it or tickets on the Amber Alerts from almost around the time I started driving. It feels like since the 90s, they've been doing this click it or ticket thing. Can you get into a car and not put on your seatbelt? The car won't shut up. It's dinging at you. It's beeping at you. There's flashing red lights on your dashboard. Nobody doesn't. What percentage of the population do you think routinely doesn't wear their seatbelt?
That's a great question. I don't know. That we should reserve that for a Scott's Shot or an Ask Paul, because that's such a great question for such a time as this. I would wager it's got to be 5% or less. A lot of that is if you drive. I mean, anybody who drives a car that's. I mean, shit, I don't know. This has been a feature in cars for what, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? I mean, anything, I think from the early 2000s onward, and yeah, the thing won't shut up. So unless you know how to pull fuses, and the fuse also isn't also connected to an important part of the car, but a lot of the time, the way they wire these things up is if you pull fuses like that, they're multi, I don't know the term, but basically they're fuses that are important for other functions of the car, so you can't just pull them, and they do that by design. So I don't know. I'd say 5% or less.
I would think it's got to be way under 1%. I mean, if you just anecdotally, if you think about it, people, it's
Maybe.
muscle memory. People put on their seatbelt when they get into a car. So in other words, this is a non-problem. It's a campaign in search of a problem. You're talking to almost nobody to begin with.
It's a public relations stunt, but mixed with revenue generation, and all wrapped in this nice little, fancy wrapper that is the guise of safety. So, I mean, talk about breaking down the public, the narrative, the mainstream narrative. This is it right here. The mainstream media, they love stuff like this. Do not question it, citizen. Obey. Allow yourselves to be pulled over, harassed, and extracted because it's for your own good. It's for safety. And the money will be put to good use for the state apparatus. You will be safer. Yada, yada, yada. It's a good thing, Scott. We should be grateful that our overlords care enough about us to threaten us with violence for our own safety.
They care a lot.
And it's going to hit the rural people the hardest because, again, I think in rural places, there is a higher percentage of motorists who do not wear their seatbelts for a number of different reasons. They have older rigs that don't bark at them. And they don't feel like they need to. When you're driving down the country roads, who the hell cares? You get on the highway for a spell, who the hell cares? Mind your business. Now, is it an unwise, not optimal life decision? Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. And statistics do prove that if you don't wear your seatbelt, you are more likely to get pancaked, for sure. But that's a personal liberty issue, plain and simple. Just like almost everything else.
Click it or ticket. Man.
Yeah, you don't ever hear, nobody in the country is like, you know what we need? A seatbelt campaign. You know what we need? We need more cops on the roads bothering me as I go from place to place. That's what I need. No, nobody in rural America does that or thinks that. We just are like, yep, gonna do my thing, mind my own business. Life is good. Do.
A public service message from the No ID Show to you. It's if you want the car to stop dinging at you, which all of my rigs now do, thanks to my buddy.
Pull the fuse.
Who is if you don't want to mess with other, like you said, there are things that might be linked into it and you're not really just take needle nose pliers and yank the thing out and pray.
You gotta know what you're doing first.
the dealer module that plugs into the car's ECU. If you have somebody that on the inside at a dealership, make friends with your local auto techs at the dealership. They can plug the module in and via programming disable that dinging.
I did not know that.
Is that what you're looking for?
Did we give enough context for that one?
That one is universal. If you don't know that one, figure it out.
I'm just making sure.
In the meantime, you know what we've figured out on this show? That value for value is the way, and not the advertiser model. This program runs on value for value. It is a different way to think about content that you enjoy, content that you receive, and the way that you interact and monetize with said content. We do not have sponsors on this show. We will not stop to read you ads for, beef jerky or deodorant or Clorox or anything of the sort. No sponsors. That's because we run on value for value.
Now, though. I said, now I want beef jerky, though.
Jack Links. It's the
Jack
degree
Links,
all in moment.
please sponsor us. Yes. Poker reference, politics reference, and beef jerky all at the same time. This is why we're friends. This is why we're friends, Scott. And this is why all of you should want to be friends with us and also donate to our show.
Yeah, this could,
Because we're awesome.
We could just
humble.
pretend, like Hendra used to do that all the time. You could just pretend like you're sponsored by stuff. And this segment of your No ID show is brought to you by Cool Cigarettes. Yes, Cool Cigarettes. Recommended by 9 out of 10 doctors.
The smoothest and coolest of cigarettes.
The smoothest.
Well, we're already sponsored by Pfizer.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah, the No
Yes,
ID
Pfizer.
show.
For when you're feeling blue, just take this blue chew. For you.
Brought
Pfizer.
to you by Pfizer.
Yes, and don't make sure you get on them without any plan for how you will ever get off them. You'll just take this in perpetuity.
That's the ticket, Scott.
That's the ticket.
Would you like to know more?
Here, I would like to know more, and I think hopefully you would like to know more about what value for value means. Value for value means that here's what we do. We put the show out there, and we don't have any paywalls, and we don't have any subscriber-only content or anything. We just try to bring value with this program. Comes out every Thursday, and if you think it's valuable, if you find our show to be valuable, we ask that you contribute value back in the form of time, talent, or treasure. That's the model. Time and talent.
So to answer your question,
What would you say you do here?
well, we are good with the customers, and we break down the mainstream narrative.
I deal with the goddamn customers so the engineers don't have to.
That is from the movie Office Space, Sir Ducifer, in case you've never seen it. Let's see. Time and talent. And I should mention that the model, the value for value model, was pioneered by Adam and John at No Agenda. So I like to pay homage to them every now and again and tip the cap to those who have been doing this model for almost 20 years. And if you're putting out a valuable product and people find it valuable, then it's fantastic and it works great. Time and talent is...
So we've been told.
Time and talent is simply that. Using your time or your talent to contribute back value to the show. That could mean sending in audio clips or news articles or anything that you think we should cover, like Sir Ducifer did with the Martian Hunter story. And
Martian Hunter.
show art is another good way to contribute value back to the show. It's never been easier to make show art. And oftentimes it's topical, and because I'll just, based on what we decide, and since we're not streaming it live, but we're recording, right before we post it, it's not as easy to make topical show art based on the stuff we decided. So the show art, we've used show art from Steve Pegg, and that was more like his own. It was like his own topic that he generated show art for. But you know what? It doesn't matter. We can use stuff that is not necessarily topical to that. Last week, I mentioned that there's been a couple of submissions, which they're in the queue and they're chambered for use here very soon. But I didn't actually think who submitted it. So I did want to say thanks to Eric Bennett and to Northbound Signal. who submitted the show art. I have your guys' stuff, and I appreciate it a lot. So you know what? If you want to prompt jockey yourself some no ID show art, that is a great way to return value in the time and talent category.
Are we gonna use it for one of our
word of
episodes?
mouth is a great value return in the time and talent category. Taking the time to tell people about the show or send them a link. That's how shows like this grow. That is extreme value return, and it is highly appreciated. If you would like to sign up for our newsletter, please go. All of this is at noidshow.com. There's a contact button. There are clickable links for the treasure portion of value returned. Venmo and PayPal and etc. and Patreon, all at noidshow.com. Right at the bottom there with the contact button, there's also a button to sign up for the newsletter, which I've seen many people have done. Please enter in your email address if you'd like to get our once per week newsletter that comes out on show days and just previews the topics of that week's show. And I try to make it funny and interesting. So if you'd like to receive our newsletter, please sign up at the website. And am I forgetting anything?
No, covered all the bases, brother.
Did I lose you?
No, I'm here. Are you here? Are you there?
Hello?
Hold on.
I see your bar moving, but I do not hear you.
Yeah.
Let me try and reset my thing here. Hear you? I don't know what happened.
That was weird.
That was weird.
Sorry about that. No,
Okay.
I didn't touch anything. I didn't touch nothing. All these buttons, and I didn't touch a one.
I have no idea. Could you? You could always hear me.
I could hear you the whole time.
All right. I have no idea. It's all good.
I see what's going on here. I see what's going on here. Really, what you did was you just muted me on your end.
Yeah. Hello.
You got to unmute me.
All right. I guess I'm doing the show by myself.
Well, I guess Paul, we can't hear from Paul anymore. So we'll just march forward.
Moving right along. You know what? Now I don't need to worry about being interrupted.
Do not interrupt me.
It's true. We should interview Dan Guggen. We should invite him on the show. Neither of us will get a word in, but it'll be a great time.
What?
I'll tell him how much I like to piss on him.
Why are you pissing on me?
All of these, by the way, Sir Ducifer, are clips from the Coeur d'Alene mayor, Dan Guggen, the newly elected mayor, going apeshit in the middle of a city council meeting a week or two ago because the minions dared to raise their index finger in the air and attempt to speak.
Yeah, he's a real gem. And what's so crazy about it is that if it was anybody from the other side of the political aisle, it'd be all over the Coeur d'Alene press. It'd be all over everywhere. It would be like inappropriate behavior. The mayor loses his mind, blah, 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 blah. But it's Dan Guggen. So they just go, oh, that's just Dan. That guy. What a guy.
Woof. Okay, there you go. NoIDShow.com. Please return value if you find our show valuable. The value for value model, baby.
NoIDShow.com. NoIDShow.com.
I got some good stuff here for second half of show. Do you have a little intermission song lined up?
I do.
All right. I shall be back momentarily.
Gonna be alright. It'll be okay. I think that needs to be established for all of us that are easily distracted, impatiently waiting for that American dream, staring at the cracked screen of my anti-fax machine. Crash landed where the woke intersect with the exhausted. They asked if I'm depressed. I don't doubt it. I was told it all began as a quest for some knowledge, progress. After you process the conflict, I'll be okay. And if I got one wish, I'd probably waste it trying to make myself an optimist. It's ironic because most of my thoughts are positive. Just hop in the whip. I promise not to drive off of the cliff. Happiness is my favorite physical feature, but I'm afraid I'll figure out that it's a mythical creature. I need to believe in a simulation that we living in. Spent the whole stimulus check on some stimulants. I'll be okay. Just freestyle the answers. If you feel it, put your hands up in front of surveillance cameras, okay? I don't take the buffet for granted, make you understand it when you see me licking my plate. We gotta travel through space to keep the family safe. Check your connections, can they handle the bass? If they reflect your face, it amplifies the existence of your significance, but only if you survive the collision. It'll be okay, even if you're feeling like there ain't no way. You're still with us today, it's gonna be okay. Okay. Alright, it'll be okay. Even if you're feeling like there ain't no way, you're still with us today, it's gonna be okay. Okay. I think I'm feeling alright, and I'll admit that sometimes I'm probably tongue-tied. Got me staring at the sun like my shoes ain't come untied. The clown face got replaced by this mountain of the Midwest average from the mid-2000s, and being the best was never the intended destination. I just want appreciation for my presentation, even if I was the only human left in population. This is dedicated to the dedication. You better love yourself today, cause tomorrow will be harder. Put your guard up, don't let them penetrate your armor. Collect whatever crumbs you got and keep them in a bread box. You knew I was the one when I was sleeping in the wet spot. And maybe if you had $1 for all of your doubters, maybe you could grow a salad and water the flowers. I know the zookeeper seen my leash and my collar. I'm in a tuxedo smoking weed in the shower. It'll be okay, even if you're feeling like there ain't no way. You're still with us today, it's gonna be okay. Okay. Alright, it'll be okay. Even if you're feeling like there ain't no way, you're still with us today, it's gonna be okay. Okay. I think I'm feeling alright.
Okay. Alright.
I have people skills. I have people skills.
So if you watch the music video for this, you're going to love it. It's Okay by Atmosphere, and it fits so perfectly with the first half of our show. I had something else lined up, and then I audibled because this was so perfect, but you got to watch it and you'll see what I mean.
So I have not seen that music video, but I love Sean Daly, and I have for a long time.
He's more legit than the Idaho State Tax Commission.
I actually saw, it's funny. I went to a couple Coachellas way back in the day, 2004 and 6. I went to the 2004 one. I actually got comp tickets because I was working in radio at the time, and the station actually gave away a couple tickets to staff, and they raffled them off. There were only 2, and I happened to win it. And all of the much more important people at the station than the frickin' board op for Loveline, not the 21-year-old board op for Loveline, won him. So I know that people were mad about that. But I did, and I went there and saw him. And then in 2006, I went specifically to see Atmosphere, who was way down on the list, obviously nowhere near the headliner. I still have that Coachella poster, and Atmosphere's on there, but he's in way near if you ever seen the Coachella posters, it's the Flaming Lips, Red Hot Chili Peppers in the huge bold font. And then as the list gets smaller and smaller and smaller toward the bottom of the poster, the font gets smaller, and Atmosphere's 2 lines from the bottom. And that's who I was there to see.
That's actually about who I'd be there to see too, I think, depending on the lineup. But it's funny how that works, huh? Yeah, good stuff, Atmosphere. I ran into him, I should say, 10 years ago. Maybe longer now. 12 years ago, 14 years ago. And I'm not a huge hip hop or rap guy, but there's a small handful, I'd say half a dozen or less incidentally, I don't know how it's worked out that way, but they're almost all white. I guess I'm super duper racist. Maybe that's what it is. I actually didn't know until I looked them all up, but all of my favorite rappers are white.
Lil Dicky.
Except for Run the Jewels. Run the Jewels is a little bit of ebony and ivory. So those guys are rough, but
who else?
They put out some good stuff.
I'm in Snow. I'm into Lil Dicky. I'm into Sean Daly. I'm into who else in the white rapper category?
Antics. I'd say look up Antics. He's French. So Atmosphere, Antics, Run the Jewels, Connor Price. He's Canadian. He's got seriously good stuff. Nice kid, really nice kid. Might be a Christian, but highly like Connor Price. He's got good stuff. And Brother Ali, who is the whitest of the white. He's an albino. So I think he's from Washington, D.C. Him and Antics are definitely, and Showish on Daily. They're flaming leftists, all of them.
Of course.
I don't think Connor Price is necessarily, but they make good stuff. So anyways.
I just looked up Brother Ali. That is hilarious. Yeah, he is albino.
Right?
Yep.
Wow. No, he's legit albino.
Yeah, he sure is.
He's more legit albino than the state tax commission is a legit entity.
So, okay, here, that's perfect. For second half of show here on No ID, North Idaho's mainstream narrative deconstruction. Usually this is mainstream media and how they are presenting everything and breaking that down. This is independent media. It's another clip from Matt Todd's The Ranch podcast, but it is a mainstream figure in the Idaho apparatus. So I would like to break it down because there is a lot of her stream of consciousness. And I think it's highly illuminating for how some think. Her name is
From our
Lori
friend
Wolf.
Matt Todd.
Mm-hmm. And Matt Todd's production is excellent. And I love that these folks are being given microphones and long form stream of consciousness platforms.
Yeah. Actually, this is the reason free speech should be enshrined, is because if you find ideas horrendous or abhorrent, you just got to let other people say them so that everyone else can hear how horrendous and abhorrent the ideas are.
So here is this is a longer presentation because this is not a little 30-second thing from Crime Channel 2 or anything of the sort. It's an hour plus long conversation. So I have snippets from it. It's a little bit longer of a conversation, but I think it's worth it.
First off, you're the administrator for the Office of Finance for the governor, correct?
Division of Financial Management.
Division of Financial Management. Okay.
Do the budget for the governor.
So, and she's basically doing heading up the agency that does all the line items, for which, as you might imagine, is a pretty tedious gig. There's a lot of them. So here we go.
Mm-hmm. In Idaho, we have a constitutional amendment that we always balance the budget, meaning revenue drives everything that we do. We cannot and will not overspend. So I think,
well, that's up for debate.
The challenges we've had the last couple of sessions, we were coming off huge revenue growth. Idaho was the fastest growing state. Even last year, we're the fastest growing state. But for the last 5-6 years, we've been in the top 2 fastest growing states in the country. That really increased revenue. Also really increased service demands and all of the things that were needed. Last year, early in 2025, we started seeing our revenue start to soften a bit. We weren't in any economic crisis, but, our sales tax decreased a little bit. We started just in all categories, we were kind of hitting or missing some of our revenue projections. And we saw that in the middle of a session where they were also talking about the highest tax cuts that the state had ever made in one in one legislative session. So it was kind of this timing where, we had all this success. We had made a lot of investments. There were prioritizations on tax relief. So we passed about a budget last year that cut almost $500 million in provided tax relief, $500 million.
Which sounds humongous until you realize that when you counting federal monies as well that pours into the state of Idaho, the Idaho budget is projected to be almost $15 billion for next year. $500 million is 1/30th, 3%.
Provided tax relief, $500 million, which it's good policy, right? If we have excess revenue, we want to provide tax relief. Just because we have the revenue doesn't necessarily mean.
If, see what she's doing though? She's setting that up. If we have excess revenue, then it's good policy. But any other time, no.
Relief.
Sorry, you knew I was going to do this.
No.
We're going to play this, and I'm going to.
Of course, this is why we're doing it. It's why we're here.
Relief. Just because we have the revenue doesn't necessarily mean the governor should always spend it. when you're in an economic situation where, housing is more expensive, food is more expensive, tax relief is one way to help put that money back in their pocket.
Sure.
And not just paying it to the governor. But it's all to the government.
Whoop,
but it's
whoop, whoop.
Whoa.
that money back in their pocket.
Sure.
And not just paying
You
it to
all
the
heard
government.
it.
And not just
Hello,
paying it.
peasants.
Sure.
And not just paying it to the governor. But it's all to the government. But it's
wait a minute. Now, remember, she works directly with the governor, and it's the governor's budget. Mm-hmm.
So, what makes you qualified to run for governor?
Money.
Yes, that makes sense.
in their pocket.
Sure.
And not just paying it to the governor. But it's all to the government. But it's balanced, right?
Gets me every time.
Also,
hey, it's like just.
I'm your king.
Right.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
Yeah, and oh man, okay, hey guys, she just misspoke. Okay.
To the government, but it's a balance, right?
I'm hearing this too, like so freaky.
Right?
Like it seems to be. I don't know. Maybe it's just my perception because I'm so keyed in on it every time it happens. But I am hearing people do this just absolutely constantly. I've been watching the North Idaho Experience guys who we brought up on the last show. I'm hearing the hosts, the guests, every third sentence, right. People are affirming the statement that just came out of their own mouth. Why do people feel compelled to do that, do you think?
Well, who are you trying to convince? And are you trying to convince? Right?
Right.
You end a sentence with that if you are looking for affirmation of a statement you have made or assumptions or a theory, whatever, ideas you're putting out there that require consensus or that demand agreement or that you want backup on because maybe you yourself are not sure of them or you're not sure where you stand or et cetera, et cetera. So it's a defense mechanism, if you will, a very natural one, and it makes sense. I also think it has something to do with the modern vernacular. I think it's a generational thing as well. Although when used by the likes of Senator Windrow or whatever,
right.
she's in her like 50s or 60s. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a gender thing because it's mainly females that we've seen doing it. Maybe it's mostly a generational thing. Maybe it's a figure of speech that people pick up. Maybe it's a Boise thing, Scott. I don't know.
Right.
Let's move along here. There's more clips from Lori Wolf, who once again is the administrator of the Division of Financial Management for the state of Idaho.
Credit to her. Before you start, real quick, I'll say she is fairly well spoken, and she's doing an excellent job of presenting herself as the sort of reasonable Republican who does indeed believe in tax relief and reasonable budgets and reasonable spending. And, you know, when the conditions are just right and just ever so, then people ought to keep a little more of their money. Don't you think? Right?
Right?
Yes, I am a conservative Republican. No, they're not. But she's doing a great job of cosplaying one. And this is again, it ties back in. I'm going to keep beating the drum. Anybody who is voting in Idaho, beware of the NIR. These are the NIR types. And it does spread all the way down to Boise. They talk like this. They cosplay as conservatives. But when the rubber meets the road, they are typically the last ones who actually want to give any money back to the people, who actually want to spend less and who are happy to keep things the way they are, maybe growing, 1-2% a year, but almost never in reverse, unless the conditions are just right.
Right.
The funny thing about the conditions, Scott, do you think they're ever just right?
Is that a rhetorical question? Right?
That's right. Right.
Okay. Moving along here.
So in August,
So we agree.
The governor issued an executive order saying we have got to reduce spending. Even though the legislature said, here's the level you can spend, I'm going to reduce it because if we don't, our expenditures are going to exceed our revenue. And the request
you can't cut that either.
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
And the request from the governor was reduce your spending by 3%. The governor, in issuing this executive order, protected a couple of things that were absolutely critical, and public schools were one of them. He did not ask for any reductions in public schools.
But they did, though, because they did cut funds for parts of the public school system, and it just so happened to be part of the public school system that my family is a part of, which is the only part of the public school system that might be worth the money that's spent. It's probably worth 3 times the money that's spent, and very little money actually does get spent, especially relative to the overarching brick and mortar system. And that is the Idaho Home Learning Academy branch of the public education system, which gets all of like 45 million, now down to I think 25 or 30 million. And that money goes towards reimbursing families who spend money on the education of their own kids, and they do the learning remote via online courses and things of that nature. It's designed mainly for rural families like us and families who homeschool like us, and supplement it with these other programs. It's flexible. It allows us to get a little bit, it's just a smidgen too, because we only get like $1,200 a year per kid. So it's bullshit money, but it's something to get money back into my pocket that I've already paid for services I never wanted to educate my own kids. But that's actually what they cut. They cut that stuff this year. They didn't cut brick and mortar schools, Scott.
Of course not.
Right.
And listen again to the wording.
Protected a couple of things that were absolutely critical, and public schools were one of them.
Critical.
Now, who is deciding what is absolutely critical? The way she and her milieu speaks is as if the rules for what is important and critical got passed down by alien overlords, and we are just sort of following the rules. Like, well, this is the untouchable thing. These are, of course, value judgments. She thinks that it's the most important, untouchable thing ever. I'd like to read some brief data. While Idaho doesn't track homeschool enrollment precisely, because families, you generally don't have to register with the state here in Idaho or anything, so that any number is an estimate.
No.
But
actually, you can pull your kids out the day you want to, and you don't have to send a letter. You don't have to file any paperwork. You don't have to do anything. You can quite literally yank your kid out of school and tell them all, get fucked, and carry on your merry way, which is awesome. Yay, Idaho.
From the Idaho Department of Education, the public K-12 enrollment numbers approximately 290,000 students statewide. The homeschool share is roughly 8 to 9% of K-12 students. That means about 25,000 students based on census and Johns Hopkins estimates. Now, if you include private school enrollments, which is approximately 15 to 20,000 students, another approximately 5 to 7%, that is anywhere between 40 and 45,000 students whose family decided that
protected a couple of things that were absolutely critical.
Those families don't seem to think that public school is, not only is it not absolutely critical, it is anathema and is to be avoided at great personal expense.
We also made a deliberate decision to protect some of the public safety funding. There were some things that we were able to reduce, but in both corrections and Idaho State Police, we protected some of those funds to make sure public safety wasn't at risk. There are some things we just have to do.
Listen to that again.
There are some things we just have to do.
According to you, Lori Wolf, to your milieu, who are you speaking on behalf of? They continually act like they're speaking on behalf of Idahoans.
No. They're speaking on behalf of this guy.
I'm your king.
That guy.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
Yeah, you mean the person who all the money goes to? The governor?
The governor.
To pervert.
That's so good, Scott. It's so good. Yeah, so that's a regular argument that I'll have to the live long day with any statist, conservative, leftists, otherwise. I mean, all statists are to the left of me anyways on the political spectrum. But that is one of the greatest questions you could ever ask a statist, is when they talk about, well, we need this or we need that, or who will do this. They'd be like, well, I don't want any of that. And the things I do want, I will voluntarily pay for, because somebody will provide the service, because there's a market. They will do it better. They will do it more cheaply, and they will treat me as a customer, not as a tax slave or a tax cow. And while we're at it, who is the grand arbiter of what we need and don't need as a society, or what we get to have and don't get to have, or what's important or critical or not?
Imagine
that really
the hubris
is a question that we ask a lot.
To speak like that. It's so hubristic. Yep. They really think that they're just, they shall determine what you just said and shut up and pay.
I am the mayor, and I decide how the money gets spent.
I am the mayor.
And I decide what is critical.
There's a lot more to this. Let's continue on.
A concept that has been coming up.
So now you're hearing the voice of Matt Todd, who's conducting the interview.
A concept that has been coming up in conversations where people say, look, nobody likes the government. Fine. You know, nobody likes taxes. Totally fine. Like, I don't like taxes. I guarantee you don't like taxes. I haven't asked. I'm just going to assume. But
I like your taxes.
There you go.
Gee, there's some nice dollars you got over there. It'd be a shame if the governor were to take them.
I don't like taxes. I haven't asked. I'm just going to assume. But
I like your taxes.
There you go.
Ew.
My God bless you. But the bottom
why
line
can't
is that
why can't Kyle Odom, like, why can't the Kyle Odoms of the world take care of these types of people?
Oh no, there's no such thing as
Remington. Like,
reptiles or Martians. No, that's ridiculous. No, I'm just,
Oh, there's definitely lizard people, but they're not the Tim Remingtons of the world. They're the governors and the Liz Wolves of the world. They're the Gavin Newsoms of the world. My God, you ever notice that the Kyle Odoms of the world never go after the actual lizard people of the world?
What is that about?
They never do.
Come on,
man. Like if what's-his-putz who smashed the windows at the jail,
Brian McClintock.
If he had any clue whatsoever, McClintock would have gone after, anything or anybody else. What a waste. Like, what a waste of talent, Kyle Odom and McClintock. Come on, you guys.
I don't like taxes.
At your next conference, when all of you wackos get together, you really need to discuss about redirecting your efforts to the proper places.
I'm just going to assume. But
I like your taxes.
There you go.
Gets me every time.
God bless you. But the bottom line is that this concept is coming that is, it's almost like there are people saying, look, there is a place for government in the first world, right? And if you want to go complete anarchy and chaos, like, yeah, there are countries that do that, and that's totally fine. But as long as we're going to hang out,
or not, yeah. Which country do you have in mind?
Oh, wait, are we going to bust out the trident? Just dust it off real quick. Well, if you like anarchy so much, why don't you move to Somalia? I win. Yeah, super anarchist over there with, the 24 different warlords who all think they are the government, and they all form a government, and they call it government, and then they slaughter each other to see who's in charge of the government. Yep, that's anarchy, all right. Yeah.
There are people saying, look, there is a place for government in the first world, right? And if you want to go complete anarchy and chaos, like, yeah, there are countries that do that, and that's totally fine. But
Matt Todd, I thought we were going to be friends.
In America, there is a place for a federal and a state government.
So
wait,
without the government,
did he just pull a Randy Marsh?
I thought this was America. Huh? Isn't this America? I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
And Tucifer, for context, that's from a little show called South Park. It only ran for like 30 seasons. You probably haven't heard of it.
And Idaho.
We're talking about the country of America, although the way the man with two names, Matt Todd, just said America was just brilliant. Love it. We can't have anarchy and chaos in America. We got to have some taxes. But I'm glad you like my taxes, Liz Wolf.
Even though
this is off the rails, man. We should have just started with this interview, and we could have done this whole podcast on this one interview. Instead, we only have like, yeah, Scott, what the fuck?
There's
man?
more. I'm
what
sorry.
are you doing here? I count on you to direct this show, and here you are bringing out the best shit last, and we're already an hour and 45 into this. Our listeners are going to be so tired.
We need more of a governing apparatus on this show, because obviously this is just total chaos.
Anarchy. It is total anarchy, and I won't stand for it, sir. I think you need to edit out the entire first half and just start with the second half, because our best work is just starting now.
Here's your weekly no ID reminder that the most chaos and anarchistic craziness, where nobody knew what the hell was what, and there were insane rules and contradictory statements, and a constant barrage of flooding the zone with confusion and fear via officialdom's propaganda, that all emanated from the state. And I'm of course referring to the mass psychosis event from 2020 to 2022. Chaos and anarchy and what you're describing is what you don't want to see in society emanates from the state. It doesn't actually get thwarted by the state. Everything is upside down. Okay, there's more. And
it's this thing we always talk about, how like the government isn't anti-crime. In fact, the state is the one doing almost all of the crime, 95% of the crime or more. It is a monopoly on crime. It's what the state doesn't like is competition. Pick a topic. Pick a good, pick a service, pick something that is illegal that we know right now. It's, according to the state, it's illegal, but the state itself does the thing, but it's illegal if anybody else does it. It's insane. I just realized, speaking of insanity, that I still have a Scott's shots for you, dude. Scott, we're gonna have to hack up the whole first half of the show, get rid of it because it's total crap, anyways, and start with the second half because I still have a Scott's shots for you. Oh, I really wish you'd opened up with this.
We might need to chamber it for next week because I have a few more minutes of this Lori Wolf interview, and this is where it really gets good. I saved the best for last.
Put you in the chamber.
And Idaho has been built on, I think, a tradition of limited government in terms of limited in your individual decision making. A lot of freedom to parent choice, right? A lot of freedom to, we want you to be who you want to be in this state. However, Idaho is also successful because the government has taken their responsibility seriously for how to build strong communities, strong schools, strong workforce, and support our industry and business. And I think if you
work and jobs could never happen if the government didn't do it, of course, because people don't naturally figure out how to work and do jobs without a government.
And I think if you ask those people that we're supposed to support what they want and listen to those priorities, it's going to help us know where that revenue needs to go and how we need to continue funding it. It's not gutting.
So do you notice how quickly she went from being smooth and well-spoken to choppy the moment she had to navigate this word salad she's trying to put together as she cosplays as a conservative, but then talks about what they really believe and what they really want and what their goals are and what they really think, and trying to bring those two polar opposite concepts together and basically weave it together with a word salad. And that's what they do. That's what Governor Little does. That's what all of his people do. That's what all of the rhinos, we call them rhinos, Republicans in name only. That's what the people from NIR up here do, where they literally use phrases like protect your freedoms from extremism, but they're the ones who march the government forward in every way, shape, and form. But they word salad their way through it. It's wild, man. And here she is. It's breaking down.
Yep.
Right. In real time, it's breaking down. I don't know how Matt Todd sits there and listens to it. Credit to you, Matt Todd, the man with two names, because the only way I think I could sit there through it and let them just speak this whole time without having to interject every sentence like I do now. Man, I don't know. You got to be on. Maybe he's sponsored by Pfizer, enough Prozac, and you sort of just sit there and you're like, yeah, whatever you say. Okay.
Where that revenue needs to go and how we need to continue funding it. It's not gutting the government. It's not getting rid of the government. It's not turning the government upside down, because then those things fail. And when those things fail, our kids fail and our businesses fail.
Oh, no.
And our industries fail.
Oh, so without the government, our kids fail.
And our industries fail and all that. But actually, it seems to me to be inverted.
Yep.
I saw what your public schools did to kids in 2020.
Yep.
You cannot escape your behavior apparatus of the state. You actually hate the things that you're describing. Industry and kids and businesses and your citizens and stuff. You hate them. Or at least, you show your, they're tools, or you show your love via physical and psychological abuse. I don't know. Is that how you show love?
Yeah, well, it's an abusive relationship. I mean, the state is an abusive husband or boyfriend, if you will. It truly is. All of the things that the state does, if it was under the dynamics of a relationship, we would be like, girl, you got to get out of there.
All the telltale signs.
He is no good.
Yep.
He is no good. In fact, I have something for you. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pull it up. Hold on, waiting for my stupid.
But he
computer to
tells
work.
me how much he loves me and cares about me. You know, when he has his arm around me after he's blackened my eye and thrown me down a set of stairs, he explains to me just how much he loves me and how much he does this stuff for my own good. And without him, how would I be able to exist on this earth?
Also, if I leave, someone else will just beat me harder. He only beats me on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays. This other boyfriend over there might beat me 4 days a week instead of 3. But I get free healthcare, so
sure, free. Yeah,
all right,
free.
I got it. Relationship rules. This is a contract I took a picture of, and it's a parody, but you get the idea pretty quick. It says things you're not allowed to do in this relationship. You are not to make any money without telling me. You are not to leave my property without permission. You will pay me a large percentage of your income or get locked in the cage. You will not own anything I don't approve of, or you get locked in the cage. If you do not pay me, you will get locked in the cage. If you trade, you can only do it with my permission slips, unless I've given you permission. Trading with other kinds of currency can land you in the cage. If you get a job, your employer will owe me more money. If you want to have friends come over from another place, they'll have to get in line, maybe for years. You will let me listen in on your phone calls, texts, emails, or any other communications. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. I will take your money as I see fit, spend it how I want, and my friends will get a cut. And if you complain about my behavior, murder, theft, kidnapping, debt, or beating you, it's a sign that you don't love me, and my friends will tell you to move to Somalia. It's an abusive relationship.
It's not gutting the government. It's not getting rid of the government.
No, we already heard that. Okay, yeah. And by the way, gutting the government is only giving them 97% of their budget, just like Wintro. We're gutting it. We're bashing it into the ground.
When you talk about
literally killing people, right?
Right. Literally. Sir Ducifer, that is Senator Melissa Wintro, explaining how the budget cuts of 2%. We only an agency that only got 98% of their budget. That 2% is killing people literally.
Literal murder.
Our kids fail, and our business.
We already heard that kids fail without the government.
When you,
I love that part. Actually, I want to we should soundbite that, because the very idea that our kids fail without the government. Bitch, please. Our kids thrive without the state in their way. Everybody thrives without the state in their way. Just the premise that she's operating from is so offensive.
It's inverted.
I can't shut up about it. It is so offensive. It's
inverted.
But if without this system of re-education, of indoctrination that pounds every human being into a square, into the same form, and tells them that obedience is the key to success, innovation is evil, thinking for yourself is stupid, you are to obey. And without us, you are nothing.
When you talk about gutting the government, there are large populations of people that have moved here from my former state.
That's me.
That are moving here without a perspective of what the Idaho government spends money on. They understand the government, a large umbrella term, and many of them that are either retired and on fixed incomes are moving to Idaho because of its lower tax base and affordability, or they're just moving here because they're like, I want to get on with my life, whatever it might be. But they don't have these ties to, for instance, the local school district. Like they don't have kids that, graduated from Middleton High School and they're like, go Middleton. And they don't have these relationships to these fundamental aspects that make Idaho what Idaho is, right?
Pause it, Scott. So another way to phrase that is, so he says they don't have ties to the community. Really, another way, the way I see it is, so they're not drinking the Kool-Aid of the cult. Statism is a cult, just like anything else. It is a religion. They have their priests. They have their God. Their God is the president or the governor. Their priests are the tax collectors and the bureaucrats. Their churches are the government buildings. Their temples are the schools. Their deacons are the teachers. They pray to Almighty Government God. The Pledge of Allegiance is their prayer. The humongous state code book that has a gorillion laws against what you can't do is their Bible.
The Bible.
It's a religion.
And so when you talk about raising taxes with these people, one, they don't have a perspective on what Idaho is spending money on. And trust me, like
they haven't been inculcated yet to the cult.
Right.
So they don't play ball.
That's the only reason I'm
suck.
opposed to more taxes and state apparatuses is because I just don't get it. I don't understand. I don't have a connection. I don't get it.
Because
You're opposed
little Timmy
to
didn't go to Middleton High.
Well, even though you did, and you and I agree, so maybe this isn't necessarily about where you grew up or didn't grow up, but in any case,
I guess. I mean, I graduated from Lake City High School in Coeur d'Alene, and I wouldn't give it a red cent.
I had experiences in my former state where, again, I'm not saying I was involved deeply in politics, but I'm like, I don't like the way this is going, right? Like this money seems whatever. You have that problem of trying to help Idahoans, contemporary Idahoans, understand where the money's going, where it's not going, why it's needed, and why it's fundamental to this state. But you're dealing with people that may not necessarily even understand what this state is or how the state became the way it is, right? Like, how are people supposed to understand this?
We invest in the things that make people stronger, families stronger, communities stronger. Public schools, whether you have a kid in public school or not, it matters, because when we start young with our kids and our kids are successful,
get them while they're young.
They then become the nurse that's going to take care of you in the nursing home, or the one who's going to help you, the real estate agent that's going to help you find your retirement home.
And there's no way that they could do that unless they were drinking the statist Kool-Aid. There's no way they could ever figure out how to do those things, or that they would ever want to do those things out of the kindness of their hearts or out of the skill set that they've honed over the years. As an industry, people who are in those industries do not tend to be liberty-minded, freedom-minded, or anything like that. Most of them tend to be highly dependent on the local, state, and federal governments for one reason or another, and they tend to be fairly leftist. Or, I mean, like, look at NIR. Again, if you were to look at the North Idaho Republicans, almost all of them work in some form of real estate. They're in banking, mortgage lending, broking. Yep. Or they're part of the medical industrial complex. I mean, a bunch of them sit on the board of the now privatized, it's a private nonprofit, KMC was, but it was a publicly held hospital, KMC was, by the community. It was actually. Now it's not. And guess who sits on the board? A bunch of members of NIR. So yeah, the medical industrial complex and the real estate, I guess, industrial complex, with banking, mortgage lending, and realtors and developers. It's a cabal. Wherever you go, it's a cabal. So again, we let them speak, Scott, and they tell the truth.
That's right. We're almost at the end.
The person who's going to stock the river so that you can go steelhead fishing and make sure it stays clean. So it is that community. And sometimes we lose sight of that because we say, well, I don't want to give money to the government. Well, the people in the government are the people who are also helping make sure that you get to live the life that makes Idaho attractive for everybody moving here. And
false. They get in the way of the life I want to live.
It's an inverted
it is
reality.
So inverted.
This is
all
how
of
they
the
think.
Stuff I would or could do. Almost all of it I can't do. The two businesses I would open up right now, Scott, if I could, for my next two businesses, are both expressly illegal in the state of Idaho. I cannot run the businesses I want to run. They're not dangerous. They don't hurt people. They both have. There is a
They
need.
require voluntary patronage. So they couldn't exist unless people wanted it to. The people of Idaho, the people you're claiming to speak on behalf of.
Yep. And there's definitely a market for both, strong markets for both. But the government says no. This is something I always talk about, Scott, and you too. And again, the more libertarian and anarchist you get, the more you realize what is seen absolutely matters. But we tend to almost overfocus, because it's easy, on what we see, the consequences of government interference in our lives. We see so much of it. But what's interesting is there is an entire swath of that which is unseen. And that's basically the things that never happen or can't happen because of government interference. So many good things that just don't exist because they are smothered in the cradle. But these people, this gal that Matt Todd is interviewing, just like Wintro, just like all the NIR people, You're right. You use the term inverted. They invert the entire equation. It is upside down. Their premise is completely the opposite of what reality is. And they believe it.
The people in the government are the people who are also helping make sure that you get to live the life that makes Idaho attractive for everybody moving here. And we have to continue that and not lose sight of that, or we will turn into a state that people then don't want to be here. And I don't want that.
It's the lack of government that brings people here. Like, how tone deaf are you? How tone deaf are you?
I'm telling you.
People move here from California.
They live on another
because they
planet.
go, oh, less government.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Unless we continue to grow the behemoth state apparatus, then the people who fled behemoth state apparatuses won't want to come here anymore.
These people who come here and flee bigger government states just don't know what they're missing. We just don't understand, man. We don't understand where the money's going. See, we just don't get it. See, that's the problem. Like, if we only got it, if we would just hold still long enough to get it, then we would understand how important behemoth state apparatuses truly are. Yeah. You guys are dumb.
I'm fifth generation Idahoan, and I want my kids
good
to
for
stay.
you.
And I love that about the governor, that is his vision, is that he wants to make Idaho a place where our kids and our grandkids choose to stay. And they
code speak time,
stay.
By the way, code speak alert. The moment somebody busts out that they're a third or fourth or fifth generation Idahoan, I guarantee you the odds are 100%, that they're going to then follow it up with some moderate leftist word salad speak. Always. Every time. Guaranteed.
See,
Because
I'm a
local. It's an appeal. Yeah, it's an appeal to authority. It's an appeal to expertise.
Yes,
it's an appeal to history. It's a logical fallacy is what it is. It's the same thing as being like, oh, Donna Pratt, mother of 3, school board candidate, been an educator for 30 years.
Yeah.
She's got the experience we need. And I just look at all that and I go, crap. I don't care that you're a mother of 3. I definitely do care you were an educator for 30 years because it means I'm not going to vote for you ever. But these things don't give you credit, in my opinion. They give you the opposite of credit. But people use it because other people who don't know how to break it down go, ooh, oh, mother of 3. Well, I'll vote for her. I'm a mother of 3.
I, as the founder of the National Organization of Gays, are saying on behalf of gays, fill in the blank. Well, I'm gay and I don't agree with you. What does that mean? Shut up. I'm the gay guy. Didn't you hear me? I'm a 5th generation gay.
Ah, you beat me to it, you bastard. I was just going to say, as a 5th generation gay, I know what I'm talking about.
Potential show title, 5th generation
You and I,
gay.
5th generation gay.
Let me write that down, and then let's try and finish this clip here.
Choose to stay
Or
here.
I think another one could be Townies and Tramps. But I get to be the tramp, not the townie.
Should the picture be like us, each eating the same noodle and getting progressively closer?
Yes, but instead of a noodle, it should be like a cedar tree or something. Gonna go with the forestry theme of Idaho.
Yeah, on account of we're in the inland Northwest. Got it.
Or a potato. A potato.
And they will choose to stay here if they have opportunity, if they have jobs, if they have strong communities, if they have people that support their kids. And
all of that can only come from the government.
Even though the opposite is actually what comes from the government so often. But okay.
And, this whole destructive behavior around, I want to cut that and gut that. And I don't want to support our physicians and our doctors and our hospitals.
And show title?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Gut. It's a good one.
Yeah, we got some good ones. They're all good. I like them all.
Destructive behavior around, I want to cut that and gut that. And I don't want to support our physicians and our doctors and our hospitals. And
there we go. Yeah. No, I hate doctors.
Then maybe
that's what it is. I don't want you to steal my money because I hate doctors.
Also, I'm sorry, but I have to bring up again that I watched how massive percentages of doctors and physicians and hospital apparatuses behaved when a mass psychosis event befell. It befell them the hardest. And we're going to all pretend like that just didn't happen, and they still have all the credibility in the world.
Yep. In fact, they and the medical industrial complex, which is deeply, deeply in bed with the state, was so happy to push all of the COVID stuff. They were ground zero for it.
Boy, howdy.
They were ground zero, man. And so again, this gal is telling the truth, and it should terrify us that where she tells the truth and almost makes it sound like a threat. And she may even mean it that way subconsciously, where again, if you cut and gut the state, what will we do about our doctors? How will we have hospitals and stuff like that? To which I'm thinking, my God, after everything we've seen the state do over the last 120 years, all you need is the 20th century to see why the hell would you want the government anywhere near anything medical ever?
Then maybe this isn't the state for you. Maybe this isn't where you want to be, because the spirit of Idaho is.
Wait, she's about to tell us, Paul.
The spirit of Idaho is.
She's going to tell us. It's too.
Is this an Ask Paul?
I can't. It's too specific. You want to give it you can always try. Go
Here
for it.
comes the question. Big or small, make your guess before we call. The game begins. It's Ask Paul.
Brought to you by Pfizer.
Maybe this isn't where you want to be, because the spirit of Idaho is.
Is what?
Community.
I'm going to give it to you.
We want those things, and I want my neighbor to be strong.
I was going to say neighbors. I almost said neighbors. I was so close. And then I went a little more generic because, community is the word they love to use. But yes. I almost fucking said it, Scott. I was like, yeah, neighbors, something neighbors. And I was like, nah, community will definitely nail it. I'm counting it. I get it.
Oh, you definitely went. Oh, hey, the North Idaho NAACP judge is holding two thumbs emphatically up.
The person
across that's because they're big fans of community organizers. The
community organizers.
The person across the street
she just told us if we don't like small government, leave Idaho.
That's what she's saying.
I have to point that out.
That's what she said.
The person across the street to be strong, and the person in the next city to be strong. And that's how we are. And that's why this state is great. And that's why I'm happy to be a bureaucrat in it.
Did you hear that?
And that's how we are. And that's why this state is great. And that's why I'm happy to be a bureaucrat in it.
I want to debate this lady. I want to debate this lady so hard.
I deeply feel that. But even if there's a third person sitting in this room and the person's like, I don't care about my neighbor. I don't care about the kid. Fine. You do care about safety. Okay. And if you care about safety.
You want to call the police when you need help and have them show up.
You want to have that service. That's first and foremost. But you also don't want a community filled with uneducated losers.
Right.
Because if you have something and the best option for the uneducated losers is to come take that thing from you, that's really bad. You want people that are like, dude, I'm not going to become a thief because I have an abundance, right? I'm not going to engage in drugs and the drug trade because I can engage in computer science. Like I'm not going to engage in
talking about
prostitution.
I have no idea.
Or Matt Todd.
I have no clue what they're talking about. He's doing the classic thing where you make it's a values issue, but you make it an economic one.
He just word saladed back to her.
I
don't know if he's being. Like, is he being ironic? Is this intentional?
I don't know, but it doesn't sort of matter because what he's expressing is what a lot of people do, which is they conflate values and economics. So in other words, if you don't have a lot of money, therefore you resort to prostitution and thievery and drug dealing, even though that's so obviously ridiculous. Like what my grandparents who came here after barely escaping Eastern Europe with their lives and had not nickel one in their pocket, and my dad's dad worked as a tailor for freaking 18 cents an hour for the bulk of his professional life. How come he didn't resort to any of that stuff, man? It's almost like it's a values issue and not an economic. It's right.
They were poor.
And by the way, have you noticed what the public schools are largely putting out? Speaking of uneducated losers.
People who can't read beyond a 6th grade level.
All of this stuff is all based on inverted premises.
It also, again, probably unintentionally, but subconsciously just threw everybody who's not in the public school system under the bus. Basically, so we're uneducated. It's going to sound like I'm taking it personal. I'm not. It's just, again, when somebody says something, it's as much about what they don't say as what they do say. And in this case, Matt Todd is implying that we're uneducated losers because we homeschool. And we want nothing to do with the public education system. I don't want to give it a dime. Does that mean I hate kids? I hate, well, I guess I do. I hate kids so much I have 3 of them, and we're going to have a 4th. That's how much I hate them.
And you educate them yourselves at great personal expense.
At great personal expense, both in lost opportunity, what some people might call lost opportunity, and certainly monetary expense. And my wife has sacrificed a ton. And so, we've made choices for, gosh, my daughter's 15 now, and we've homeschooled her the whole time, and we have sacrificed the whole way to do it. And our kids are incredible, and I put them up against anybody from public school. $1,000 on that bet. Give me any of your kids.
The public schools, of course, are the ones who
would say, allow me to get at your juveniles.
I just need to while they're young, we just need to get at the juveniles. And remember, it's who displayed the actual true hatred for kids. Public schools. Close the schools down. Mask them up. Sit still. Pull that mask back up over your nose, you snot-nosed disease vector. We'll tell you when to stop.
Actually, Frederick Bastiat talks about this, where this premise that sadists have is that because we're against the government doing something means that we're all of a sudden just against the thing is patently false, and it's patently absurd. And it certainly involves a misassignment of intention as well, which people love to do, a motive, okay, here it is. Frederick Bastiat, one of the greats, a French economist from way back in the day. And he also was the author of the broken window fallacy, where, people think, oh, if a window breaks, well, that's kind of a bummer, but it's actually good for the economy because, well, now the window maker now can feed his kids, and that whole line of logic, which is total bullshit. Frederick Bastiat was one of the first to challenge that line of logic. He says, we disapprove of state education. Then the socialists say that we are opposed to any education. We object to a state religion. Then the socialists say that we want no religion at all. We object to a state-enforced equality. Then they say that we are against equality, and so on and so on. It is as if the socialists were to accuse us of not wanting persons to eat because we do not want the state to raise grain. And that's what's going on here. It's Matt Todd just pulled that stunt. Yep. And actually, I'm going to call him out hard on it because that's bullshit. It's total bullshit. In fact, the reason why I oppose the state doing all of the things that it does is because I care about my neighbor. It's because I care about kids, mine more than anybody's, but in general, I do care about kids. I care about people. I want them to thrive and flourish. So I am anti-state.
The whole overarching theme of this conversation was Idaho is the way it is because of the state. Here's the last 30
While they scratch their heads and wonder why people move here from states that have way bigger governments and way more issues, and then they come to Idaho and they're like, oh, thank God, it's not as bad.
And then the administrator for the Division of Financial Management says into a microphone, well, then maybe you don't belong here. As a fifth-generation Idahoan, I declare that you don't belong here. And I love being a bureaucrat in this state.
And I love being a bureaucrat.
Like I said, we got to finish this. I got to pay off my my final 30 seconds here.
Because I have an abundance. Right? I'm not going to engage in drugs and the drug trade because I can engage in computer science. Like exactly. I'm not going to engage in prostitution because I can do all of these other things. You don't want people that have nothing else, that default down to the most basic, survival skill sets,
right?
Prostitution and mercenaries. Like we don't want that. That's a bad idea.
Oh, you mean the government?
And that's not a path forward to prosperity for anyone.
Politicians and cops. Prostitution and mercenaries. You mean politicians and police?
Sometimes I wonder if they do not hear what you just said.
And especially if you're an older person that's kind of like, I don't really care about these things. It's like, you kind of do, because you don't want to be in a community filled with a bunch of people that you don't want to be around. Right? You want people of a certain caliber.
Yep. And you would. If it weren't for a behemoth state apparatus, your communities would be full of people who you didn't want to be around, like mercenaries and prostitutes and drug dealers. That's what he said.
Yeah. This is. I'm really surprised. This is a very. It's a very pedantic worldview. It's shallow and pedantic, and myopic.
Well, maybe in another parallel universe, he's the chaos-sowing anarchist, and we're the statists.
That'll never happen. Ever.
Okay, what do I got on my list here? I got Martian.
I would Rick and Morty. I would go pull a Rick and Morty and kill all of my alternate selves if I found out that they were statists.
So I've got
when they drag me before the Council of Ricks, I'd show them what's what.
I've got Martian Hunter, 5th generation gay, Townies and Tramps, cut and gut.
These are fantastic. Wow.
Is this one of those instances where you would hate to be me to have to make this decision? Or are you going to give me your pick?
I mean, we either got to flip a coin or roll the dice, or maybe what we do is you just pick one, but you throw the other 3 underneath as like subtitles. Just like we couldn't decide. We picked one at random. They're all good.
So it'll be colon and then the whole subtitle. Okay. All right, I'll have to figure that out.
No, I think we go with Townies and Tramps, and we do a AI image of Matt Todd and Liz Wolfe, the lady in the tramp scene on a potato.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I like that. And it's sort of the inversion of our Townies and Tramps thing. So there you go. All right, well, thank you for tuning into this Townies and Tramps production, No ID. We will be back. This is episode 28. Episode number 29 is next week. Value for value is the model this show runs on. Please remember us at noidshow.com. And if you find the show valuable, contribute back to us. Time, talent, or treasure, we love and accept it all. And if it weren't for the state, we wouldn't be able to do any of this. So thank you so very deeply, bureaucrats. Until episode 29 from Post Falls, I'm the townie. No, I'm the transplant, Scott.
And I'm the tramp, Paul. Taxation is theft. Well, if you like anarchy so much, why don't you move to Somalia?